What's going on, basketball fans? We had ourselves a couple of very, very exciting games last night. Clearly, as a Bucks fan, that was not the ending I was looking for. It was an exciting game. I don't know if I'm annoyed with the refs or both teams. Stop fouling jump shooters. They made it very unaesthetically pleasing to the eyes as far as basketball games go. And I know your pet peeve of the day is Oklahoma City needing to get a shot off and not even getting a shot on that last is not making you happy.
No, exactly. We broke it down nicely there. We both have our own little pet peeves of the day. And I was just going to say, you don't know who to be frustrated more with. It's okay to be frustrated with both.
Okay, that's fair because I hated the foul call on Jimmy Butler to win the game like that. I thought it was awful. But I didn't like the call on Middleton to make the 3 free throws before that. So it's like, one in the hand, one in the other. You got to let them play just a little bit. I know you can't foul jump shooters and give them their room to land, but come on now. It's playoffs. You got to give them a little something.
And that's why when you leave it up to the human element, I understand people like that because it's not automatic or anything. But you see that with the strike zone. All of a sudden a call is one way, it changes what the next call is. It's like, no, a ball is either a strike or a ball. It's not, you know what I'm saying? It's not, this time maybe it's a ball, a strike. So we see that stuff eye to eye.
All right, man, guys, we will break down overlay later. We keep getting questions. Yeah, we're going to be into it. We'll do NBA and MLB for today. We are here to do this is NBA Draftkings, clearly, but we got 4 sports up here, guys. NFL, we already did a video on that earlier. Golf for you golf aficionados. We'll talk about NBA and MLB later. They got contests for everybody. I tied for the record to get in the money yesterday, but didn't have the right tiebreaker points. So I am anxious to get back after it this evening.
Yes, sir.
Right. So typically, we're down to these 2-game slates now in DK. We all are working with the same one. I do want to start by saying we had a very solid night last night, but major shout out. We got a longtime customer of ours who, by using Dort and putting the finishing touches on what we had talked about throughout the day, took down $10,000 last night. So Preston, told you to give you a shout out on the public video today. Congratulations on the 5 digits of winnings. That is a great day. Do something smart with it. We're happy for you.
Yeah, nice job, brother. Really big day over there, and we'll take more of those. Yeah.
All right, guys. Day passes are up if you want them. Monthly memberships is a great time to sign up because you get 3 sports because we got NFL coming up real shortly. Subscribe to the network if you have, if you can. Click the thumbs up button. We do see this slate close today. I think we got a couple of minor plays that we're going to tweak a little bit differently. But one of the guys we both like a lot is Kyle Lowry. So we got the Raptors coming in down 0-2. We like the cut of the jib of the Raptors today to not go down 0-3, or at the very minimum, fight this one to the last minute and give solid production. Lowry is the veteran leader of this team. I like him to leave it all out on the floor today. He has scored fine throughout the series despite shooting 10 of 28 with only 1 3-pointer made. Plenty of room for upside here. I don't love a lot of the guards today, but I do specifically love Kyle Lowry, and he's going to be a staple for me.
Yeah, we like the cut of Toronto's jib mainly because of guys like Lowry, veteran presence who's been there, done that. This guy is a guy you can trust in a spot like this. If Toronto loses this game, it won't be because, like you said, they didn't leave it all out on the floor. Interesting one. Do you think Lowry's a Hall of Famer?
No.
It's funny. In baseball, there's no way a guy like Lowry would make it. But in basketball, you could see it.
Yeah, it's possible, especially if he closes hard in the back half of his career. So I feel very comfortable with Kyle Lowry today in the point guard position for myself. I expect Toronto to play real hard right here. And the one thing that you can know about an 0-2 team, their rotation's not getting deeper. If anything, it's getting more shallow. A guy like Lowry, if he stays out of foul trouble and plays well, could play 42 minutes today.
Easily.
All right, next up. So let's talk about the other half of this game. Very similar to one of the pitchers we brought up on baseball today. I want to talk about the ins and outs of Daniel Theis. So he's gotten way too much love the first 2 games of the series, and I played him last time out in cash games especially. And I expect him to get huge ownership again in this game because he has worked. However, we expect Toronto to play well today. So this is one where I really like the idea of the GPP fade today. So I expect him to be very popular once again. But this is a guy who is foul trouble prone. We've seen him with multiple clunkers in the past. This is a very solid 2 to 3 game stretch for him right now, but he's very capable of providing, poorer points, especially if Toronto were to get up in a game like this today. So I will likely ride him in cash games today and play the ownership game right there, but you can definitely talk me into the GPP fade.
Yeah, for sure. He makes a lot of sense in cash games. And in tournaments, I don't hate going here because our options are so limited, but I don't think that he's the must that the ownership will kind of say he is. I like all your reasons for why he could bust here. It's not like we haven't seen him bust, as you mentioned. Um, Toronto's going to bring it here. The problem with fading him is that it still is a good spot for Thies, as he showed by the past couple of games. His game plays well here, so he should be productive. But I love your points. He's going to be too high owned, and there's other forwards that are priced around him that are going to be much lower owned that could easily outscore him.
You'd only need that one play in NBA DFS playoffs to be different, right? And fading a chalky Thies, just for example, to go with Marcus Morris. On paper, Thies is the better play right now. But if Morris hits a couple of threes and plays well coming off the ejection, and Thies picks up two quick ones early, maybe Williams plays really well in his absence, and then he comes in and picks up a quick third one. Like you could easily see Thies bust in this situation. We've seen this guy bust over and over and over and over again, but because he's riding a hot streak right now, and Boston has played really well, he should get tons of love today, and this could be a spot for me. Yeah, if I play 3 GPPs today, I'm fading him in at least one, if not two of them.
Yeah, I was going to say, if I played 3 GPPs, I'd probably play him once.
All right, let's move down the list right now. So the Nuggets take on the Clippers today. So one of the things that's nice about this one is we get a new game to dissect, whereas we know what to expect out of Boston and Toronto today based on what we've watched through 2 games. This one brings in a little bit more of the unexpected. So the Nuggets finally got Gary Harris back 2 games ago. He has shot the ball awfully, which is not unusual for guys who haven't played basketball in many, many hot minutes. So we're not calling for him to go 7-7 from 3-point range today, but you also don't need that much out of him to pay off his salary. They're going to need to play him. Denver loves Gary Harris. He is the one guy who plays reliable minutes when he's out there along with Jokic because you know what he gives you from a defensive perspective. He's not a great offensive player, but he's not a black hole either. And if he hits a couple of shots today, he doesn't need to go 7-7. I mean, if this guy shot 4-12, this would be a steady improvement on what he offered last game. He's very capable of giving you, 3 boards, 2 assists, a steal, and a block, hit a couple of shots, and he's right there at value. And he definitely filled the sample build that reviewed on the members-only video.
Yeah, so you're right. It's like after Murray and Jokic, who are obviously their best players, the next guys to get the most run, at least did in the regular season, were Barton and Gary Harris, really. Both those guys had been missing. They want to get Harris going. They need him. They like him. The other thing that we didn't even touch on here, regardless of how you think this game plays out, like I think he gets good run because if Denver is sluggish and kind of gets rolled here, I think that they want him to see his normal run and blowout time so he can get, his legs under him. Do you agree?
I would agree with that. I have trouble seeing a scenario where he's not playing better minutes because
Yes.
they got their hands full with a more talented and better Clippers team right here. You need your best perimeter defender. Like they've shown, they've obviously shown that they're struggling with Millsap, who is older. Michael Porter's a black hole on defense, that they need to be able to stop somebody. And Gary Harris is very capable of doing that. It's no surprise that he started to get his feet under him in Game 7, and it might be part of the reason Donovan Mitchell and Mike Conley didn't play that well.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, not the only reason. It's a Game 7, palms get sweaty and stuff like that. But I don't think Harris is a must. But at a guard position where you could use a value guy today, I feel safer with him than the other guys.
Yeah, he is to me like those other guys we've talked about, Tucker, Crowder, like priced the same. He's a little bit cheaper. You don't feel as good about it with those other guys because those guys are bigger and haven't been hurt, but he falls into that category.
All right, next up. So for me, I got no problem doubling up on Toronto guards today, and that is using VanVleet and Lowry together. Every single thing that we talked about with Kyle Lowry basically also works out for Fred VanVleet as well. I know you have really turned the corner on your desire to play Fred VanVleet. You definitely have seen this guy turn his career in a major way. He's just become better. He's a really good shooter who shot the ball poorly. So like Lowry, there is a lot of room for upside here. And I think he played 42 minutes last game, 43, something like that. Like I almost expect him to play 40 minutes today. I trust his intangibles. And do you know what this point discrepancy needs to be for Toronto not to have him out there? Like they got to be winning or losing by 25 for Fred VanVleet not to be out there.
Yeah, exactly. He's going to get his run here. And I like him a ton. I mean, we talked about it. I think people are hesitant to spend up on both Lowry and VanVleet, and I like them both a lot. I maybe not go there if it was like a 10-game slate, but it's not. It's the playoffs. You only have 2 games. Both games are going to be, not maybe defensive oriented, but they're both going to be, hard battles because it's the second round of the playoffs. So you can't expect monster scores. I like VanVleet to like walk into 40 plus here, assuming he shoots the ball even just a little bit better. Upside for so much more. Between Lowry and VanVleet, I like them both.
Last year, we saw this with VanVleet. He had some shooting struggles in the first round of the playoffs against the Magic, in the first game or two against Milwaukee. Actually, you know what? He took off to see his kid. Then once his kid born, he came back. And yes, part of it was the amazing play of Kawhi Leonard and the elite defense that the Toronto Raptors played on my Bucks. The other part of it was VanVleet did nothing but hit big three-pointer after big three-pointer after big three-pointer after big three-pointer, and he's willing to chuck it up there. All he needs to do is turn it around a little bit offensively, and 50-plus is not out of the question.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys, that's what we got for today. We appreciate y'all watching. If you don't mind clicking that thumbs up button, it always helps us a lot. Memberships available through the website. Let's continue to get that money. Congratulations to Preston once again. A bunch of other customers with big nights last night. Congratulations to all you guys. Brad, sorry we couldn't surge up that GPP a little bit further. Brad's one of our Facebook admins, and he screenshots me with like 5 minutes to go, and he showed that I think I was in like 7th, and he was like in 9th out of like 5,000. And then he passed me to beat me on this one. So, yeah, what are you going to do? Hopefully we can do a little better today.
Well, nice job.